come to standing, you're going to turn your feet in like this. So you'll turn your feet in like this. You're a little pigeon-toed. If you tend to already have knock-kneed, I'm going to ask you to put your feet just a little bit wider to see if that will help you feel a change. So from this position, you're going to take your forefoot. With both forefeet, it's like you're trying to part the Red Seas. You're not going to move or slide the feet. You're just going to push against the floor like that. When you push against the floor like that, you'll feel your inner heel feel like it's pulling in towards each other. So your feet are spiraling. So if you do that, and let's do that in the way where you can soften in your hips and then do that with the feet. Feel what happens as you soften. When you're softening and then you do that in your feet, again, the feet are just pressing against the floor. You'll feel the external rotation happen at the hip joints, and you'll feel this hydraulic come up through your lower body. Make sure that you don't feel any knee pain. If you feel knee pain, turn your feet in a little less, so you have less of that rotation, but you want to be able to feel both your inner heel and the sense that the forefeet are going like that. So you're not just pushing your forefeet like that, you're actually pushing from your big toe. So you don't lift the little toe, but you're really putting more emphasis on the big toe, on the inner heel. And play with that a few times by pushing into the floor a certain way with the feet. And you're feeling the external rotation happen inside your hip joint as you do that. And you're feeling the hydraulic connection. Okay, and then I'll have you walk around a little bit, see how that feels. So I call this gecko feet because when people start to feel how their feet support them and connect into their hip joint better, their feet feel sticky, like gecko feet. So I want to know if anybody here is feeling their gecko feet. Karen feels it, Autumn feels it. Yeah, that's fun, right? And what happens when you feel your gecko feet? How does that feel globally? Keep asking yourself. You learn to have this conversation with yourself. It's not a passing physical trick. It's actually feeding into this narrative of being supported. Autumn says it's comforting. What else? Because when the words you use feed into the narrative you need. When you build resource in your body and you start to frame it in your own words, that is to translate directly into the type of words that you need. Gecko feet made my upper body feel light and free. Awesome, Alexis. Michelle feels more present and stable in body and being. That's great. That's great. Okay, we're going to add the eyes now. So come back into standing. And now when you do this, and you do this foot action, just do it with one foot. Let's do it with the right foot. And as you do it with the right foot, keep your weight in both sides, or you're still in the center. As you do it with one foot, it's like you're pushing a revolving door. And feel how your body turns. And then as you do this, now you're going to connect your head up into it. You're going to use your right eyeball. And you're not going to use your eyeball to look. You're going to use your eyeball to move. You're going to turn the eyeball on itself. And as you turn the eyeball on itself to the left, you're going to use your left head key. So that's the base of your head. You're going to turn as if you're using that as a handle to turn as well. So you're using the eyeball and the opposite head key to rotate your head in space on itself. Your whole midline is like the center of the revolving door. You are pushing the revolving door, but that center line is just spinning on itself. So see if you could feel that connection. See if you could feel the eyeball turning within the sockets. And that turning within the socket starts to turn, just organize the head, because the head has a lot more degrees of turning, And by using the head key and the eyeball, you keep the head in place and you re-establish the perception of connectivity from your foot, specifically the inner heel. You're using the forefoot, but you feel the inner heel into the hip joint. So the right hip joint is going into an external rotation inside the hip socket and then into the eyeball. And the eyeball is helping to navigate this very variable head movement. We're stabilizing the head movement from 2 points, from the head key, the eyeball, and then we're turning the spine underneath it. Okay. Try the other side now. You're not trying to do 3 separate things, but you're feeling that that is one single movement. It's like the eye is pushing the revolving door. We're using our eye as an organ of organization instead of an organ of light reception. The eyes perceive space, it perceives light, it perceives movement, but what we're doing is we're using it as a physical handle to organize movement. Okay, so having done that, come back to your center. We're going to do the same thing again. See if you could feel your hydraulics maybe a little clearer. And now walk around and see how you feel.
Yeah, just so much more connected from bottom to top.
Yes.
And not kind of monitoring quite so much with my looking. Yeah.
There you go. That's what we're doing. We're starting to unburden the eyes from looking and holding and bracing and using it to feel. The eyes are feeling the movement of the head. The eyes are feeling their place in the sockets.
Yeah. I think finally getting this sense of it turning in on yourself, as it were, without actually turning everything. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
It's a really efficient and effective way, but the bigger story is what the implications are. And if you can capture that through your conscious thinking, this is what the conscious brain is good at, developing the narrative and the story and the context. If you can do that with this experience and build it into your self narrative, into your self talk, into your beliefs about what's possible for you, of who you are in the world, this is the juice. This is the big stuff that changes your life in a dramatic way, not just from the physical pain relief way.
It feels really connecting and welcoming the world in a bit more than sort of trying to push my way through it, focusing and doing. There's small possibilities of that. It's quite relaxed, isn't it? Yeah, responding really, as opposed to controlling all the time. Amazing.
That was a huge sequence of realizations that happened in such a short time, the way you were narrating that. And it's big, right? You actually have this experience that shows you what it is, and then you welcome it in and you understand consciously so that you're not using your stuck thought patterns to reproduce the bracing.